Welcome to the Entrepreneurship Networking Program. Your host, Mwila Jonathan Puku, and tonight we'll be talking about SME and banking. And to help us with the topic, we're joined by Mr. Michel Mchiwe, the Senior Manager at FMB, SME and Business Banking. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, we're blessed to have you here. SME doing business, obviously, they need to get the help from the bank in many avenues. So we'll just get right into it. Maybe people are wondering who is Mr. Michel Chiwe. So maybe in your briefest words, can you just tell us about yourself?
Okay. So Michel Chiwe is a banker who's got 18 experience in banking across retail banking, business banking, and commercial banking. And I'm currently looking after SME and Business Banking in FNB Zambia. Then, of course, on my own, I've got vested interest in real estate business. So it's in its own right, I'm also an SME per se.
Yeah, entrepreneur. Yeah. Okay, that's good. All right. Okay, maybe we'll get right to my next question. How can SMEs, the fact that you actually deal with a lot of SMEs, and looking at your position, you actually deal probably with all regions when it comes to the SMEs, which are handled by FMB. So how can SMEs improve their efficiency, especially in this current economy?
Okay, so the first thing is to run any business, you need to realize to say every ngwe counts. So if every ngwe counts, it means that you need to watch your costs when you are running a business. So at every opportunity, you want to reduce on the cost of you running your business. So there are a few things which SMEs can do. So number one, I've seen that most of the SMEs have got multiple bank accounts with multiple banks, but that doesn't help. Because remember, you have a monthly fee on your account.
Yes.
So for example, if you have 10 different bank accounts, and you're being charged 100 kwacha on that account, it means your monthly fees will be 1,000 kwacha every month.
Okay.
But you can reduce those costs by just maintaining maybe one or two accounts which you need.
Okay.
Secondly, SMEs should take advantage of accounting or payroll systems which are free. If they don't get the free ones, they can negotiate where they can get those systems where they are paying less as compared to them maybe going to get systems where they'll be paying more, and that will increase their cost of doing business. They can also relook at their office space.
Okay.
So remember, for example, most of the office spaces you pay per square meter. So if you look at your office space, sometimes you don't need 1,000 square meters. Maybe you just need 100 square meters, and that should be enough to cater for your business.
Okay.
If you do that, it means you're reducing your rental costs as well.
Okay.
Sometimes even the areas where your offices are, yes, in plush areas, that's where everyone wants to be. But if you're a smaller business, you need to think through it. To say if you go in those areas, it means you pay the prime rental prices for those. So you can look at where you are in terms of your area, in terms of the space you have, so that you reduce on the cost of you doing the businesses. The other thing is in terms of transport. So if you have company vehicles, you need to explain to your employees, even to yourself, to say you need to reduce the cost of running those vehicles. So sometimes you may have errands to do for the business. Maybe you're just going to see a prospective customer. Maybe the other person needs to deliver some goods. So think through it to say maybe you can use one vehicle for someone to go and see the customer, and after that they can also go and do the deliveries, instead of you releasing two vehicles, and the cost of you running those vehicles in terms of fuel, in terms of personnel, it will be on the higher side. So carpooling can help even in the business for you to reduce your cost of doing the businesses.
Okay.
The other stuff is using the digital platforms.
Yes.
I see most of the businesses coming to the bank. Remember, you're using fuel to come to the bank when you can do all your transactions on your digital space.
Okay.
Even when you look at statutory agencies like your ZRI, RATS, background, all those, you can still use the government bus in terms of you paying all those statutory payments. You don't necessarily need to go there. That will also help you reduce in terms of your costs. And the other thing is, obviously, talking about fuel and the prices of fuel going up every month. So going the greener way, green energy can also help. I know that in the initial stages, it becomes expensive for you to go into green energy. But in the long run, you'll find that it will help you to reduce the costs instead of you running with the normal fuels or the normal energy offerings. So some of those things, when you think about them, it will help the SMEs to reduce the cost of doing their businesses.
Perfect. The fact that you actually talked about the cost. So now, our as FNB, First National Bank, Zambia, tried to make it easy for these SMEs to actually do business.
So the first thing is just on account opening. Mm-hmm. We've made it easy for our customers to open their accounts in terms of obviously all the banks will ask for the same requirements. Yes. But it's the ease of how you're going to open that account. So for us, we've eliminated most of the paperwork. You don't need any paperwork. When you just give us all the documentation in terms of your company registration, yes, then everything is done digitally. Even the time it will take you, as long as you've given us all the requirements, within 15-30 minutes, we should be able to open the account and give that account to you. Okay. Then, apart from account opening, even the way you transact on the account. So, like I said, in terms of using digital platforms, FNB is a digital-led bank. Yes. So, in terms of your transactions, we'll give you the digital space, so that in the comfort of your offices, in the comfort of your homes, or wherever you are, you can be able to do the transactions. That makes it easier for our customers to transact. Then, apart from that, we know that in terms of our country is in the growth phase, mm-hmm, and all the businesses are looking to grow. So you cannot grow a business without funding. Mm-hmm. So we've made it easy for our customers to come to FNB and come and borrow for whichever business expansions they want to do. So you can come for your term loans, you can come for overdrafts, you can come for asset-based finance, you can come for all the trade products, you can come for commercial property finance. So all these have been put up because we want to help our customers to grow and to go to the next level. The exciting thing, which we started just about 7-8 months ago, is where now we're even giving facilities or loans overdraft to our customers without them necessarily giving us a traditional security which you need or collateral. Mm-hmm. So just by you banking with us over a period of 6 months, we can offer you something. All we ask you to do is just to sign a personal suretyship, and off you go. You don't need any collateral to be given to the bank. Oh, okay. The other things we've tried to do is financial redress. Yeah. Because we've seen that most of our customers, in terms of record keeping, your basic accounting, even just the structures in their businesses is not there. Yes. So you need to help the businesses to understand that those things are critical. They need to put them in for them to start running those businesses in the right way. And those are some of the things which we've put up to just easy the way of doing business for our SME customers. Oh,
perfect. I like the fact that FNB has actually, last year we had that theme, innovation through technology. But I feel like FNB had already actually started that, because the e-wallet already started a long time ago, and I've seen that, like what you've said, it's a digital-aid bank, and it actually supersedes even the theme. And also the financial literacy. These are two things that the government is actually pushing: technology and financial literacy for SMEs and also for individuals. I like that the bank is actually working on that, and has been working on that. So I'll just run straight to how the economy is. What is the economic advantage? Maybe let me start with the disadvantage. What some of the economic disadvantages for local SMEs have been with this current depreciation of kwacha? Maybe you can give us in brief what you think SMEs are actually struggling with now that the kwacha is actually depreciating.
Okay. So first things first, our economy is an import-led economy. Okay. So when our local currency is depreciating, it puts pressure on our businesses, because they have to import most of the goods which we use. It could be they're in manufacturing or they're importing finished goods. everything is coming out of the country and you need to use dollar for you to do that.
Yeah.
So when your local currency depreciates, it means the cost of you importing has increased.
Yes.
And when that happens, obviously as a business, you are going to transfer that cost to the consumer. And when that happens, you put pressure on the consumer because everything goes up. And at the end of the day, the consumer will have a choice in terms of picking what items they will be able to buy because the buying power has reduced.
Yes.
And when that happens, obviously it will affect your sales as an SME. You most of the your customers will stop buying maybe as frequently as they used to buy,
Yes.
or they'll simply stop buying some of the items and concentrate on the essentials which they need to run their lives. And when that happens, if you reduce on your sales because of that, it means that your business will be affected.
Yes.
Even you as a business, you think twice. Probably you had 5, 6 employees. You start thinking of how do I reduce the cost because the business I was getting is no longer there.
Yes.
And you know that for SMEs and smaller businesses, they are not so diversified. Maybe they have one line of business and all that. So if it becomes so difficult, there is a chance that some of those businesses can even fold. So that puts pressure on the smaller businesses. And obviously it's not just the smaller businesses, even the bigger businesses, because even them they'll be affected in terms of bringing stuff when your local currency is depreciating.
All right, okay. Let's look at the bright side. Most people don't actually understand inflation. We can sing a song. Some SMEs actually don't understand. They'll be like, "Okay, what's inflation?" Some won't understand. So, but then they'll tell them, "Okay, we're in a single digit. Oh, it has dropped." But they don't know the impact that means, the positive impact that brings to the business. So maybe in your briefest words, what's the economic advantage when you see your inflation rate dropping in a country?
Okay. So simply that means I'll use the example of where we are now. We are around 9.4.
Yeah.
So what that simply means is in terms of the cost of your goods or services are increasing by that figure on a month-to-month basis. So the simple example is if you are buying something at 100 kwacha last month and your inflation rate for this month is 9.4, it means that item will be bought at 109 kwacha for Tingwe, for example.
Yeah.
Now, if you compare that to, for example, if the inflation was at 15%, it means that your cost of buying what you are buying 100 kwacha last month will be 115 kwacha this month. So the only difference is in terms of the price the goods are moving at, it's a bit slowed. Instead of going to buy 15, it has grown by 9 kwacha. So what you are buying at 100 kwacha, you can buy at 109 kwacha instead of you buying at 115 kwacha. So essentially, you are saving a 6 kwacha on a month-to-month basis when the inflation is growing slowly. And that 6 kwacha, you can use it to buy something else. So it's an advantage because basically it has reduced the cost of you getting some goods, and you can use that difference maybe to do something else with that money.
All right, okay. As we're running towards the end of the program, I just want to find out the fact that you talked about funding, and also we just wanted to find out most of businesses out there, they feel the bank is very difficult to actually get a loan in terms of maybe paperwork, because probably they'll be asked to say, okay, yeah, you need to have a good CRB report. But maybe someone has actually been performing with the business. Maybe at some point he faltered when he was doing business, and obviously he had a bad record at CRB. And they feel the bank is not flexible. Even some might even have a collateral, but maybe they had a bad experience in terms of credit at some point with another institution. What's your comment on that on your side, and just even how the bank treats that situation?
Okay. So even there, our business customers need to understand a few important things which they need to put up in their business. So I'll speak to 3 items. The first one, like I said, is record keeping. Then the second thing I'll speak to is consistency.
Okay.
Then I'll speak to integrity or being trustworthy. So when you talk about this, that's why we urge our SMEs to be keeping their records, because that's the only way the bank is going to look at your business and see what is happening in your business. And if you remember, when we just started, I spoke to you getting accounting tools, basic ones, which can help you to keep all those records.
Yeah.
So if you come to the bank would want to understand how your business has been running over time. And they can only get that understanding when they look at your records.
Oh, yes.
So these are your sales, these are your operation costs, and this is how you make your money out of the business you're doing. And all that will only come from the records which you're keeping. Now, it becomes difficult if you want to get a facility from the bank and you cannot avail any records to the bank. It will be difficult for the bank to make a decision.
Yeah.
Then when you speak to consistency, the other problem we've seen with the smaller businesses is they may have multiple accounts, and with Bank A, they are keeping a 10 kwacha there, Bank B a 20 kwacha, maybe in a mobile money wallet, they are keeping another 20 kwacha. So when they come to FNB, for example, the only thing we're going to see is the 10 kwacha they have kept there, not knowing all these other monies they are keeping around in all these places. Probably they're even keeping cash at home. Now, if you're consistent in terms of your banking, we'll be able to even tell from our own statements to say, this company A, from this time to this time, this is the kind of money they have kept with us. And we can make decision based on that. Mm-hmm. That's why in FNB now, we've started giving the loans to our SME customers just based on the activities on the account. Okay. So if you have certain activities over a period of 6 months, we can assess you and say, company A qualifies for a 200,000 kwacha because those are the activities which are happening on the account. Okay. But if there are no activities on the account, it will be difficult for us to make that decision.
I see.
Then you don't have to necessarily do that just because you want to borrow. It should be part of your DNA. That's how you should be running your company. The other problem we have with SMEs is they'll just be the good customers at a particular time when they want to borrow. But be consistent with how you run your accounts. They need to be easy at whatever time you want to get funding from the bank to go and look at your account and help you in terms of your funding. Then when it comes to being trustworthy or integrity, it doesn't matter. So, for example, when I was speaking to some of the loan facilities we are giving based on the activities of the account, we will not give you that facility if you have dishonored checks there. If your account is perpetually with overdrawn, we will not be able to do that. Even when you get any facility from the mobile money providers, now everything is integrated. You spoke to the Credit Reference Bureau. Mm-hmm. We'll be able to get that and check and see, say, this customer is not trustworthy because they got something from somewhere else and they haven't paid back. So it's important that when you're running a business, you let people trust what you're doing in terms of putting the integrity in there, and that should happen throughout your business life. That will help the businesses now to make informed decisions on how they're running their businesses when they approach the banks. Remember that all of us are regulated. So even the regulator like Bank of Zambia will not allow you to be lending money to companies or individuals who are not credit worthy. Okay. So when we do that, it will help generally in terms of the country, in terms of our credit worthiness or our credit rating. And when that improves, it will even be easier for the banks now to start sort of looking at some of these conditions which we ask for and reducing some of them because our credit ratings or our credit profiles have improved. So it starts with us as businesses, and then after that, it will help with the businesses getting the banks getting the comfort in terms of giving out such kind of facilities, even if you don't have some of the requirements we're asking for right now.
All right, okay. That's Mr. Michel Chiwe talking about banking for SMEs and also how you can manage your costs to be efficient. So I'll just ask you maybe as we close the program, do you have any last words or closing remarks, encouragements for youth, especially those businesses that are youth-oriented businesses, especially coming from me as a banker and entrepreneur?
Definitely. So I remember in terms of our country demographics, the bigger chunk of our population are the youth. So even the things we are talking about, like our credit ratings, if we do things correctly, it means that even the youth who are starting businesses, they will not have as difficulties as probably it used to happen 10, 15 years ago. So my encouragement is for the youth to get involved into these businesses. You can be doing whatever you're doing, maybe you're working or something, but you need to also know how to run these businesses. Remember, the way things are in terms of our employment rates are not so good. So probably these are some of the things you can run into. Even for our women customers, like at FNB, we have our her banking proposition, which is helping every woman rise. And we're deliberately trying to help these women and these youth in terms of giving them facilities. We have cohorts of where we bring them in to help them, train them in terms of how they should be running these businesses. We are doing that as FNB, and we've partnered with different institutions as well, like the World Bank Group, just to help our youth and our women in terms of just having the basics of how they need to run the businesses, and knowing that with these, they will eventually be the bigger businesses which they'll be running in Zambia. And as FNB, we are going to, of course, get the businesses from them, and it will also help us to grow our business as a bank.
Thank you, Mr. Michel, and
thank you so much,
privilege
Jonathan.
to have you here.
Thank you, much appreciated.
Thank you, viewers, and see you next time.